When I say I really trusted this camera, I mean it. 2 years I have trusted this camera to be my main camera to capture everything and anything, to come along with me everywhere and to shoot all my gigs, the big ones and the small ones. I used this to lay the foundation of my career. I did free gigs, stupid gigs, crazy shoots with the fire department. I took it to Africa twice to capture intense cycling adventures, filmed with Red Bull, Al Jazeera, Ford and so much more. But it all started with me being in a position where I wanted to give filmmaking a go. So I was in need of my first pro camera. But how do you pick a system? There are a lot of things you could want in a camera, but with a limited budget you have to be realistic and only focus on the things you need. So I was looking for a full-frame camera that could shoot 10-bit 4K in a good log profile. One that had 2 base ISOs for better low-light performance and a lens mount that's widely supported, with reliable autofocus, anamorphic support and preferably open gate options. In-body stabilizations, a cooling fan, full-size HDMI out, as well as a dual card slot so I never lose anything. And I know, it's a lot to ask. But surprisingly, there are still a lot of options left that deliver on all my requirements. So obviously, I ended up going with the Lumix S5 Mark II. But let me be clear, these requirements might not apply to you. I made a list with a lot of very basic, wide requirements that would allow me to shoot a lot of different things, since in the beginning of my career, I didn't know exactly what I was going to be shooting yet. So if you're massively into weddings, sports, birds or anything else, your list may vary. So keep that in mind when you make your decision. So since the studio is still a work in progress, more coming soon, let's head outside and talk about the past 2 years with this camera, shall we? Okay, so we're heading to Bruges. I have to pick something up, so might as well use the opportunity to explore the region a little. Maybe grab a couple of nice sunset pictures if I can find a good landscape or get a good drone shot. And otherwise, we'll just find some nature and have a good time. Anyways, the Lumix. I really enjoyed using this camera over the past year. Honestly, almost no complaints. The app works great, the image quality is amazing. Because it's 4K oversampled from 6K, the quality is really sharp. And the noise floor is also quite low. So the dual native ISO of 640 and 4000 is actually a really good number, I find. Because the Sony with 12,800, that is nice, but it's a lot. When you jump up that much, you really notice it, and everything is between is quite noisy. While with this one, if it gets dark, you just bump it a little. And then if it gets really dark, you just crank it, and then the noise is actually quite okay. If you put it at 12,800, like Sony, the noise is barely there. I mean, not barely, but it's really nice actually. So, very happy with it. Anamorphic support also turned out to be really important, because after buying this camera, a couple months later, bought myself an anamorphic lens. And I used this lens on like 3 big projects. So having anamorphic support built into the camera, and more importantly, having stabilized, like in-body stabilization with anamorphic support has been huge. This way I could run handheld with the anamorphic lens on the camera all day and know that the footage would be fine, even if I was running slightly. I went to pick up what I needed to, and so now we're in the Belgian countryside. Nothing special, and the sun is kind of disappearing behind some clouds, but I'm hoping the clouds will color up nicely in a couple of minutes. So hoping for a nice sunset. Meanwhile, I've got the car right here, so I'm gonna put it right there and try something out. So, I've put the car right there. The sun is coming out beautifully, actually. So let's do a quick photo shoot. Why not? So let's use the Pocket 3 to capture some B-roll while I use this one to take the pictures. And I'll tell you about the photo quality and my experience with it as I do that. Okay, so the sun is still looking nice. I'm using the Lumix S5II, of course, with a 22-16mm kit lens. I actually really like this lens. It's very light, very compact. Of course, variable aperture. It's a cheap lens. That's the downside. But I like shooting with a closed down aperture more often, actually. So it's pretty sharp for that use case. Damn, the sun has just the sun has just gone away. Let's quickly turn the lights back off as we wait for the sun to come out. Let me tell you about the photo quality of the S5II. So with a 24 megapixel sensor, it isn't huge, but because it's a hybrid camera, if the megapixels would go up, like to 60 or something, the video quality would go down because you have smaller pixels and everything just gets grainier and more digital. So Lumix just struck the balance between them and gave us a reasonable megapixel for video. Could be lower, like 12 if you're looking at the FX3, but 12 is horrible for photos, so 24 is twice the pixels. That's a lot better. I guess they just split the difference, and I think that's a wise decision. It makes for a really brilliant hybrid shooter. So the sun is out again. A bit harsher than it was, but let's give it a shot. I also put on a circular polarizer, so reflection will be cut a little. Okay, so the sun is kind of setting again behind some clouds, so let's quickly check out the photos and see if we missed some things. So it's all connected now, and let's download these images. Okay, so the sun is really setting now, so I don't think we'll have a second chance. All the images have been transferred, and what I'm gonna do now is, maybe you've noticed the color of this video. I like it. Unlike my other videos, which are all graded in DaVinci Resolve using the Film Look creator, this one is graded using the Dehancer plugin. That's something that I've heard about a while ago, but never got the opportunity to use it until now. They've lent me this tool to try out and use on this video, and I really like it. I hope you do too. But they also told me that there is an app on your phone to convert images that you take with your phone, or in this case with my Lumix, and give them a film look based on real film. And if you like it, I've got a little promo code, real film, that you can use to get 10% off. Wow, okay. Some of them are really strong, but some of them are also quite nice looking. Let's go with this one. Then you can, of course, keep on editing. Boost out the contrast. So if you want to see how the final images look, I'll post them on my Instagram so you can check them out. Links down below, as well as the promo codes and a link to the website of Dehancer. This is not a sponsored video, but thank you for partnering up with me. I really like this product. So I quickly edited some photos. You can view them on my Instagram. So let's round off this video with some final thoughts. The battery life of the Lumix S5II has been amazing. I have used it a lot with a V-mount to extend the battery life and add an additional screen and some extra accessories that needed power. But one battery in itself has lasted a long time. Actually, I only own 2 Lumix batteries because they always get me through the day. If I'm doing video with a small setup or photo, they both manage to last. But then there's lens choice. And while the L mount is a great mount with a wide variety of lenses by Sigma, Leica, Lumix, the whole L mount alliance, I've got some thoughts on the cameras that use them. You see, within Panasonic's lineup, the S5 Mark II is kind of almost the top of the mountain. You can go up to the S1, but I find that it's not that much of a difference. You know, if you really want to make the next big step within your camera, you go to a cinema camera that has got built-in ND, it's got a cine body to rig up to different things, got a V-mount slot, CF Express cards, you know, that one, the S1 does have, sorry. But I find the S1 lacking just a little bit in order to call it the next step. So if you really want to grow, I don't know if the L mount is the way to go, because Leica is not going to be good for video. Sigma is not making any cinema cameras. Neither is Panasonic, I would argue. So the only one right now is the DJI Ronin 4D, which I own now. So video coming soon-ish, once I've got some thoughts on that one. But you see the problem? There's a lot of lenses, and a lot of great cameras, but no greater cameras, if you know what I mean. So I'm honestly thinking about selling this setup and investing everything in Sony glass, because the Sony lenses also fit on my Ronin 4D, because it has interchangeable lens mounts. If I want to upgrade from the Ronin 4D again, I can go to an FX9 or a Sony Venice or a Burano, and I can still use all my glass. So that's just something worth thinking about before investing in the future in filmmaking. Side note, these two negatives, they are something related to me. If you are someone who likes to shoot a lot of 4K 60, for example, this camera is also not for you because it has a crop in that mode. I just lose it like 1% of the time, so I just know how to work with it. If the negatives that I mentioned don't bother you, and if the only thing that you hear is positive feedback, go for it. I mean, it's an awesome camera. And the Lumix community is also great, I must say. Tagging them on Instagram and them interacting with your posts and reposting it and maybe mentioning you on a Friday, that's awesome. I like the Lumix community for that. So, with that being said, I guess that was it. Thanks for coming along on this micro adventure and watching this review. If you got any thoughts for yourself, please drop them below. I love to talk here in the comments. We did so in the last Pocket 3 review as well. Let's see what the next one brings. Are you more interested in Ronin 4D, Mavic 3 Classic, or something else? Let me know.